we're getting a double up here. How's it going, Sonalar?
Doing good. Thank you for inviting
Yeah.
me.
Now we have like a double happening here on. Okay, let me.
A double,
Yeah,
like the audio, or
there we go. Whew, that was my double up. I
oh,
have a
okay,
double up
it's on
going on in my
YouTube.
head.
Got it.
Okay, finally cured that. Okay, yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles when it comes to doing live streams and stuff. You're kind of at the
Oh yeah.
mercy of your technology. So 2 days from now,
Oh
or
wow.
no, more than 2 days. It's I believe it's Sunday that we will be having our annual Shauner Day to celebrate the life of Shauner and all the things that he had brought to us in the 4D roleplay TTRPG space.
Applause.
I did not rehearse that at all. So yeah, I
Fantastic.
will be starting a stream at 12 noon Mountain time for those that want to join. That'll be an hour before this time if you're watching this live. So um, that would be that. Today, Zonalar, I have several topics to talk about, and most of them kind of focus on what Flamezombie was talking about last night. Did you take any listen to what Flamezombie was talking about last night?
I missed the start and hopped in at like the last 30 minutes on the stream.
Yeah. I ended up yeah. I seen you popped in a little bit later, but I was going through all of the um first part, and man, I tell you, I really I totally understand how he feels and how the
Yeah.
rest of us feel about these uh, commenters that comment on videos and they're people that don't even have videos of their own stuff.
Darn commenters, how dare they critique
So,
what we say?
I get lots of comments, and I do like. I'm kind of different than Flame Zombie. I kind of like having those walls of text. You know, the people that just get right into it, make just pages and pages of typing, realizing that they put like literally like half an hour into what they're typing, right? You know, and
Oh yeah.
you're like, wow, I did that to that person. He wasted like a good portion of his day trying to figure out a good like
Yeah.
gotcha moment, something or that he could pull out of his hat or whatever it is that they're talking about in their comment. But it just astounds me. So
It's weird. Like, it's easy if somebody gets, you touch a nerve with your topic, and once the nerve is touched, they stop listening and type their comments. You might as well have closed YouTube at that point. Uh, I don't care what you think because I stopped listening. But here's what I think. It's like,
mhm.
okay, we addressed all of your points if you watched the video, and if not, like if you didn't, then the comment is actually interesting because we might glean some insight from that
Yeah.
to adjust what we say. But that's not what's happening in most of the times when people start typing.
So I did notice that one of the things that Flame Zombie was kind of mentioning is that there has been a response with just the outside community from us that um, there is a slow start
Yeah,
involved with 40 roleplay, but what I argue is when you watch a typical role playing session, you get basically a 20 minutes of player introduction, and their character backgrounds, and they do this individually, like per player. By the time you're done your full thing of going through all the characters, it basically becomes 20 minutes of just you know uh, yakking with
yeah,
no actual gameplay. And what we try to do in 4D is introduce that introduce that exposition as part of your actions, which we call like anchoring, and describing your actions in depth, in detail. And the reason why we do this is because it emulates very much what you will see in movies.
Yeah.
And if you would like, I will indulge us to I'll get something set up here. Have you ever had like, I don't snoop on other people's comments and stuff like that, but what are some of your most atrocious comments sent to you as of late?
Well, it's been a while ago, but the worst one was when a Warhammer channel joined in on the live streams and said, "Hey, you guys, you do like unsolicited advice, crimes against roleplay. You should check out my channel because I do it the right way." And we did. So it's like, okay, it's an open invitation. If you want, we can do it on stream. And he gave the okay. And we did him as part of a double feature. We did 2 channels. And when we arrived at his channel, it was tabletop simulator. You got the virtual battlefield, hundreds of folders of different battle maps, of musics, of setups. And the players, they would roleplay occasionally. And then they would cut out the roleplay when combat started and do combat. And it was a lot of fancy setup. And the fancy setup doesn't really help to create like an immersive roleplay experience. I think it's really cool, but it is something completely different. A different way to play a 2D game, to make the 2D game a bit more immersive, is the way I thought about it. And in the comments himself, he just laid into it like how trash your games are and everything. And I just thought to myself, well, I didn't waste hundreds of my hours, like based on what he said, hundreds of his hours prepping a game for players that don't really role play in the game.
Yeah,
And the audio itself is like, okay, you got all of this prep, but when you listen to it, all you hear is Discord mic muting and unmuting every time they talk throughout the whole session. It's very obvious mistakes that can be fixed, but it really ruins the experience if you create a fantastic meatball, but all the letters on the plate is fucking like going off, wilting.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I when you end up with sessions like that, I mean, you really have to go ahead and evaluate. And a lot of these guys post their stuff and don't re-look at it and evaluate and give themselves a bit of critique. I think that is important, that you learn from what you put out there. And you put out you got to put out a video separate from it to explain, hey, I could have done this better, I could have done that better, and people learn from that, and they learn from you, and just because we're brave enough to go ahead and put out this material, doesn't mean that you guys out there, random people, shouldn't put it out there. You should, and really take the criticism to improve yourself, and don't take it as being something offensive. And we try to be as unoffensive as possible when we do critiques. So,
it depends on the stream. Sometimes it just gets under our skin. It's like, okay, wait, the gloves are off. Come on, I need to find out what's going on with that guy on his channels. But yeah, like at first I want to be respectful, and he invited us to critique his channel specifically. So like, okay, let's give him the best constructive criticism we can think of. And he got offended by that and attacked us personally on our games, and not just the games, but us.
Right,
like, you are trash, your games are trash, and all of that. It's like,
well,
trying to communicate the problem with the channel, not the problem with you, and keeping those separate, because it's not your identity. I'm not attacking who you are, and you shouldn't be what your YouTube channel is.
You hurt his feelings. You hurt their feelings, man.
Feelings were hurt.
And that's, and that is, really, when it comes to people getting their feelings hurt, is the person that's getting feelings hurt, they're the ones that should be evaluating why does it make them hurt.
Yeah,
why
does
it
it
make
hurt
them
so
feel
much?
that way? Yeah, why?
Yeah.
Why? Go inside your head, figure it out. Me being being shamanic again here, and but let's see. Here's an example. I mean, if you have a player, your character, and you bring them in to a 4D session, this is what your beginning is going to look like, and this is what I'm going to show you here. Let me give you this.
Let's go.
Share, and we'll start in the beginning here. This is one of my privated videos, mainly because it would be copyright restricted and all that stuff. We'll start from here. We are watching a character in his environment, and we see the main character from here, and then we will change to another character's point of view in this.
Oh, okay.
So let's watch this, okay? So now this is the beginning. There has been no exposition except for the date, the time, right? And all we're seeing is a massive crowd of people. You're seeing the people in the clothing of the times.
Yeah.
And you're seeing Mr. Carter walking through the streets. You don't know any background of Mr. Carter except for the clothing he wears. So if you were 4D and you were describing this, you'd be saying, as Mr. Carter, I walk through the streets cautiously, avoiding the crowds of people with umbrellas in hand, rain shrouding down upon me. But I sense there is someone coming upon me as I have just made a successful recon search. So that would be the basis of a recon roll. And now I realize that there is somebody following me.
Definitely. I walk through the crowded streets, keeping my head low.
Awesome.
I look for an opportunity to duck away and start sprinting.
Turn into the corner. Make my charm check.
Thank you, milady.
Yeah.
Apologies.
Natural 20.
Oh, it's so smooth. So damn smooth. I use the.
So what do you know? What do you know of this character now? He's in the West. You're slowly learning stuff, and this is only basically the first couple of minutes. So mainly, what 3-4 rounds, maybe.
I would say he is observant because it is a full city. It is raining heavily. Everybody has black umbrellas, so it's just like a sea of people. And he spots two guys following him in that kind of noisy area. So he's very observant. Yep. He's suave, like using a lady to chit chat with casually. So he has some charm to him as well. And being able to roll it off, not get the lady offended, like, oh my God, who is this prude? Like starting up a conversation with me.
Yeah, I mean, you've encapsulated it perfectly, and this is exactly why we as 4D role players go ahead and do these slow starts to introduce our characters. It's just like these movie moments. You're bringing out little, and there might be a keepsake. There might be something on John Carter that you notice that maybe it's something on him that and as a 4D player, you bring that out. You bring out these ideas. You also
there's even an element of conformity that all the other characters in that city are conforming to. You wear black and black umbrellas. That's just a standard. Like, no, I wear brown. That's my choice. Now, I mean, in the movie, it might just be so you spot the main character, but for role playing game, that can make can make your character distinct from the NPCs or the culture around you.
Yeah, that's
A
true. That's
personal
true.
touch.
It would also make you stand out a lot more. It would have made that
Oh yeah,
that little check to go ahead and avoid the following person
might be a
a little
bit
bit
more
harder, right?
difficult. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And these are things that you think about as a game master, you know. Oh, okay, well, you're using a different color umbrella. So it may make it stand out a lot more. Now this might
It's
be
not
just,
pink, but
but
brown. It's still different.
you know, you could do something like, I quickly swap, you know, the umbrella with another person, and say, you know, like, or bump into them and swap the umbrellas with him unknowingly. Now he suddenly has this brown umbrella, and he's like, oh, wait a
Yeah.
sec, and you just slip out with your black umbrella. Or, you know, there's always those elements of surprise of what could possibly happen. And yeah, that's now the reason why a lot of things have a. Well, I'll just bring this down just for a second here, just to pull it off. But what I do notice is sometimes game masters won't provide the initial location as the nexus of the first scene of action.
Oh yeah.
So if your player decides, and usually I let my players decide where they start. If it's a bedroom, they start waking up in their bedroom, or whatever it is that they're doing in their bedroom. The other you have some squeaky noises happening.
Oh, what's that going through?
Yes, that was coming
Oh,
through.
I pressed the mute button. I didn't mute. Damn it.
Solalar, say excuse me.
Excuse me.
Yeah. And for me, you might hear the occasional pat 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 going on as they're doing some roofing next to my next door neighbor. So, which is nice because she needs a new roof, and she's finally getting one. So sorry, folks, for any kind of extra sounds. But back to what we were saying is, you know, when people like, you can see this in my training games, is I bring in the character, I introduce the what he's currently seeing. It's up to him to decide on the reasons why he's there and the reasons why he's doing this thing that he's doing. You know, searching through ruins or exploring a abandoned ship in space, or whatever it is that he's doing. Wherever that opening is, I will inject the action right there, right now. It happens. And I tend to do this with my games when I'm playing face to face too. And I think as far as my goals in the next little while is to do that a lot more, bring that action in right away, because a lot of people a lot of players, their characters, they synchronize with whatever activities are going around them, so they'll sink in to the situation that they're in, be it stressful, or you know, you got some sort of pressure coming on them, like a ticking time bomb about to go off, and you're about to go ahead and make your way through the mall, away from the possible explosion area. So you have to describe your character going through, you know, avoiding the people. Maybe he shouts, "There's a bomb in the place," or whatever it is, you know, and that causes the crowd to, you know, to get excited, and they start, you know, panicking, and suddenly, you know, there's security guards, you know, running around saying, who's where's the bomb? Where's the bomb? And they think that you're the person that planted the bomb. So now they got guns on you, and they're freaking out. And you create a whole situation out of it. It's kind of very Tarantino like, in that I like, in, you know, I want to bring that more into my games. So where the pressures bring out the spirits of the character forth, and you can you know, portray them in that kind of stress, and
That is a thing that I say a lot of people have difficulty doing.
Yeah.
Seeing the world through the eyes of their character that they are in, because I assume it's because a lot of people, they have like the nose in the character sheets looking in like, right, well, do I have like a mechanic skill to deactivate the bomb? Do I have like explosions as my specialty?
Yeah.
Like how would my character react to it? And they start looking at the shorthand, like the D&Ds, like what are my strengths, my vices, like how would I feel about this? But
Yeah.
the more you are in tune with your character, you can just act on it. And
Yes.
I say act because as in an action that you do, but also as in portraying your character, role play it out. And not like acting like an actor who gets provided the lines that he must say. Because there's no director telling him how he should feel in this situation. You should feel stressful.
Mhm.
No, but the game master is not doing this for you, not at a 4D table. It is the situation happens if you choose that you're cool as a cucumber and you lift your thermos can to take another sip of hot tea in the cold weather rain as all the people run away from the park because people are shouting bomb.
Great.
That would be great contrast, and
Sure.
that also informs your character. But
Exactly.
you make it a choice. You make it a choice as a player at that point.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And maybe more game masters should step up and bring in the action forth, eh? And
Yeah.
we can see that a little bit more. Maybe some of us 4D GMs can maybe try that in some of our game instances. I know I have it in a few of mine. I'll usually have a catastrophe or something happening within because you
Yes,
want
yes, you do.
yeah, for me, I love action and movies, where the characters get into conflicts with each other and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And it's so epic what you can construct with the minds in front of you. It's mind blowing. Let's look at another scene here, and I'll bring this one up. This is actually in the beginning of the movie, in a scene prior to what we just saw, and this basically introduces an NPC, but this could be also a player as well.
Okay.
So just to kind of set that stage. So let's get
Are
some
you
back.
playing with audio or muted? Because I could not hear anything, but I
Oh,
could see chat.
I have it lowered so that I don't get a
Oh, the
copyright
copyright thing.
strike.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah,
so
no
I
worries, no
will I
worries.
will bring it up a bit, but I do have the closed
Yeah.
captions on.
Viewers, if you're watching, let us know if you can hear anything.
See what do we have for comments here. Yeah, Zone Water's here. All yeah. He comes in quite actually quite a bit here. So, yeah.
Hello,
Hey,
Dean.
glad to see you.
It's a good
So
time zone for me to
and
join, so I'm happy
we
to hop in.
we got the Granard guy. He's been communicating with me for a little bit here too as well. So
Welcome.
hopefully we'll get a few you guys into the training sessions and have you guys playing with the rest of us.
That would be great.
Yeah. All right. So this is in the very beginning of. I've kind of skipped out a little bit of the beginning part, but I got to the part where you're basically seeing a ship being cornered in a sandstorm as the narrator has narrated. Okay, but that's what all the narrator does is he narrates. He doesn't tell the characters, tell what you do. It's you're gonna see basically in front of you. Happens.
And everything changed.
NPC or another character.
My character dies in a fiery explosion.
I make my recon roll, looking for other the ships in the area converging upon us. I make my recon roll,
I pull the ship above
and
the clouds as far as I can.
now he knows what to do. indicating his commands to the ship.
Hold on to the loose objects on top of the deck so it doesn't slide off on the turn. I aim the gun, shoot at the enemy ship. Strike.
You know, and this is so cool because you have no exposition except for a kind of like a guide to tell you that they're aboard this ship trying to get through this cloud, and they're being cornered by, you know, opposing forces of these warriors. Now you're in the action. You know, this guy's pretty freaking, you know, he's important. You know, he's commanding the ship and everything. And, you know, you can tell by his uniform and everything that can be described as you're doing things. You know, the fur of my collar billows in the air as, you know, I shout commands to my subordinates. You know, get to the ship, get the everything over onto the front deck, blah blah blah. Whatever you're gonna say, you know, you don't have to be an actor. You just say what you are doing as a character. We can imagine what your character is actually saying, but sometimes players have to get the gist out, and we let our imaginations take over what it is that he's actually saying. Because if you're imagining him as a commander, you're going to imagine more of a commanding voice on it. So, now we get into, now this is full action right in the first 5 seconds of the movie, and we're learning stuff about this character as he pulls through. Hell, he's a good warrior here. And now you're witnessing the immense power of these machines, along with the mystical forces of these beings that come in. They come in like gods almost. It's freaking crazy, eh? It's like, huh.
I stand frozen in fear. All my body's gone, evaporated. I reach out my hand for the weird substance they hand me. It wraps around my arm, look confused.
He thought he could thwart the powers that gave him this weapon.
It's a great luxury, Sub-Zone. Get up.
See? So you know he's not entirely trustworthy, but he does respect power, right?
Oh yeah, he
you're
saw a new resource and turned it into a gun immediately. Like, what is it? I don't know. Like, wraps around you. Of course, it's a gun. He just killed 1 billion people with one shot, with one blue beam. So I'm gonna turn it on them.
Mm-hmm. And you know, it's.
What are you?
Now you're learning about them.
She has chosen you to receive this weapon. Do as we command, and you will rule all of Barsoom, with none to defy you, and nothing to stand in your way.
Looks like they're trying to recruit me.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. There we go. See? No exposition other than what the narrator gave for the description of what was happening. Mm-hmm. You know, the narrator doesn't have to expedite any kind of information further other than what this character learns at the time, from round to round to round.
Yeah.
And you know, if you have the communications, the rules of table communications put in place, so that you know, you have a streamlined, sensible, includes every player at your table, okay? Because that is important, including every player at your table, so they ensure that they have their turn, and encourages all of them to listen to each other as well, because you have everything put away. You're just intense on the table, you know, going from person to person, creating more of the texture of what's around you, because with the ability of co-creating, people can add details to what they're seeing and stuff, and it enhances what the other players. That's what we're trying to get other people to understand, is that this is a collaborative, co-creative method to include all your players to partake of this. Now, keep in mind, if the player is not going to be a proactive type of character, like he doesn't seek out adventure, he would rather stay home, and pretty much like any other of us in the real world. Would you go ahead and venture into the bad parts of your city, Zonalar?
Some adventures must not be explored.
Exactly. So you, as a regular everyday person, would avoid these terrible hotspots, but you are not that character. In the case, you might be the commander of the potential ruler of Barzoom, or you are John Carter, and you are slowly unraveling the mystery of yourself in this setting, and you end up encountering like finding your way to get to Mars in a teleportation kind of way, and you actually go out there, you adventure, you're proactive in finding answers and stuff like that. If you do not have players that are active and want to go ahead and explore and do that sort of thing, then that's not what that game is going to entail. It will be more homestead. It'll be more, it could be more of a domain play kind of game, where you may be a farmer that is leading into a serfdom, and you are commanding your peasants to do everyday chores and activities and stuff. And you may have the occasional wolf on the horizon, to worry your the shepherds. You might have a situation that an ogre off in the distant farmers' fields causing chaos and stuff like that, or a nest of sturges that nested in one of your apricot trees, and now you got to go ahead and deal with that, because now it's inflicting something on your domain. So that's another way to get inactive characters to kind of become active, is bringing in these ideas. But it does dictate how your game is going to go, depending on what players you have and how proactive they are. So,
and there's the big difference is if you're an active player or a passive player, and if you're playing an active character or a passive character. I would make it very clear those are distinct. The passive player might oh, I'm playing an active character, but because the player himself is passive, he's waiting for the game master to give him a signal for something, maybe to be active about, or like nudge him along. Okay, here's the next thing where you can be a hero. But if you're an active player playing an active character, you seek out the glory, right? You seek out the problems to be solved.
That's
in
right.
whatever way that manifests at the table.
Yeah. And that's, and that's the thing, is the player has to do this. The player must do it. The game master should not be there to prod you along. The game master is there to give you situations that are occurring around you, and narrating them. And if you wish to interact with them, then you do so. If not, you're standing there and watching stuff unfold, and maybe that nest of sturges starts feeding on your chickens, and and it just starts getting worse and worse. Nothing's getting resolved, right? And stuff like that. And always watch movies, get ideas from them, because this is the medium that your brain is being accustomed to all these years after watching media for so long. It's something that we do. And we got somebody else new here. Hey, a reason for role play. I've been checking out a few other people's channels and stuff like that, and it's cool to see you on here too. As well, I think I have a video now. Whether or not I show that one now or later, I do have something special though. Have you heard of something retro going on? Something that is going to come back from what we thought was the dead. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ready? Are you guys ready out there? Okay, get ready.
Who is it? They say he was once a knight. Before the war against the Dreadites. Surgeon with a sword. Oh, wow. The answers to only one name.
I? What name would that be? Deathstalker.
My old friend.
Come and get it. The mighty Deathstalker!
Oh, you just see your face glowing in the green room.
That sword in the end.
That sword is awesome. It's like a platter, with the 4 blades on it. It's like, oh wow, they're going full on like a sword and the sorcerer here,
I was about to say ridiculous, but it's very different.
Exactly. It was like, oh my god. And the thing is, it's got this is the director of I don't know if you've seen the movie Psycho Gorman.
I have not seen that one.
It's about a Psycho Gorman. It's about a child, a pair of kids, brother and sister. The sister's real nasty. She's always bossing her brother around. They're just kids, right? And they find this thing, I think it was like some sort of device. And if she keeps it, she controls this demon called what she named Psycho Gorman. This is like some sort of entity that wants to end the world with all its evil. He wants to shred the skin off of people, and he's just a nasty kind of character. But this girl goes ahead and commands him and everything, and makes him do all kinds of crazy shit, like do dance moves and stuff like that. What kids would do, and he's like, once I'm released, I will put you through the most miserable pain for the rest
dance
of your
again,
eternity.
do the Fortnite dance. Curse you.
Curse you. Curse you and all your spawn. It's crazy. But it's very tongue-in-cheek kind of humor. So I kind of expect that this would be pretty cool. And we have here some show. Yeah, we can do that. We can go ahead and put together our own, spontaneous game of Traveler. Yeah, let's do that as well. I think that would be cool. Cool. You into that, Sonar?
I like Traveler.
Some Traveler. Well, we can easily make some characters up, or if you want to go ahead and make yourself a character within the next couple of days, just roll one up. I don't care. I don't need to see it. You just have to show up and you know, just like John Carter or the future ruler of Barzoom there. Just show me what your character's all about, just by your natural ability to anchor and use your role play. I think people have to start understanding what we're doing here. It's not a system. Like we're not doing a system like Bro SR or something like that, or some sort of way that. No, we're doing communication is the key here, and if you have rules of communication that make it so that everybody has a say, everybody has their turn, it works. You have all these other guys that are showing up, all these big name Matt Mercer, Matt Colville, DM's Lair, all them guys. You watch their stuff, and it's always going to be, at least a half hour for every round, that occurs. And for me, that time wastage it's just not efficient. There should be no reason for it to actually happen. And yeah, we can do the quick character gen as also too. So I could open that up a little bit early and have some guys generate some stuff with the generator. If they don't have the full generator themselves, I do have the RPG suite, so we can generate some characters that way as well.
Right on.
Okay. And there we go. Awesome. And as far as what did you miss? Oh, well, we had the Deathstalker, the new Deathstalker movie coming out, right? So we did show a preview to that. You had just missed it, and yeah, this works as well too. The NPC generator that Sean made, and I'm not sure of the link, but I will see whether or not I can seek that out and send that out to on my description here as well. Other things that you missed is we did a little bit of showing what John Carter of Mars as examples of how to introduce your character in a role playing game without having like nonsense exposition being put forth, or having a character intro where you introduce a player, like in on a live stream. You have those, where they have a character and they present their character. My name is Zonalar of Exelar, and I am a genie magi, and my background is being a flighty kind of character.
I'm a level 4 elf Deathstalker, and I wear a black hood, and I wear pants, and I wear a big sword that is 4 swords actually. And I have 2 dogs, and my dogs wear armor, and my dogs pull a small cart full of stuff.
And they don't like squirrels.
And
No, show us that they don't like squirrels. Have them perk up. Squirrel,
No, don't chase the squirrel. No, not again.
Yeah, a lot of this interesting stuff, these interesting character interactions are being missed by game masters dismissing it all. For example, the traditional walk to the provisionary store and buy something there. That usually gets hand waved as being okay. You go there, you do the thing, roll a reaction roll. Good, you can get these items for X amount, and that's what their role playing is. Just like that, where you could have an entire adventure like we showed with John Carter of Mars, going through the streets, the rain coming down, everybody has umbrellas, and suddenly you realize there's somebody's following you. Oh, you got to deke them out. Go ahead and make a couple of rolls for, I'm going to kiss this girl, roll a charm, and that's what we saw. You know, well, he rolled a 20. Obviously, she was smitten like all his know-how, and you got away with it, and the guy went past you, so you continue on moseying on your way.
And
Here's
this is really a classic problem with a lot of game masters, because they clearly seek ways to save time on their tables. Oh, going to the store? Oh, this is boring. We can cut this out. Just look at the table and pick the items and just tell me how much money you paid. And
right.
And I, like, there's still some trust at the table. I trust you that you paid the right amount. And if you want to make it something like, I want to save some money, make a roll and I give you 10% off. Something like that.
Yeah.
And then yet again, we're like, okay, wait, how is this not interesting? Instead, we are following the standard plot you've written out or took from some book, or even worse, you ask ChatGPT to make the whole adventure for you, to throw something together completely nonsensical.
Yeah.
And I have to sit there as you tell me the story that my character goes on. That's much. It boggles my mind how this is the separation a lot of game masters are doing. If you can role play going on an adventure that has been prepared, as long as it makes sense for my character to go on that adventure, And at some point, it becomes really hard to justify that all 5 player characters at the table are still having the exact same goal to keep them all together. So that's when you see all the players, they look at each other, it's like, well, we saved the princess, but, I'm not down to hunt down the dragon afterward. I did my job. Like, why do we have to kill the dragon? It's a dragon. Why do we have to kill it?
Right. There's several other options. Maybe you can just visit the dragon, maybe convince it to go ahead and mosey along its way, and your band of adventurers won't bother it anymore. Or
we are big and tough, and the neighboring country is much weaker than we are.
Yeah. Or find out who the dragon's natural adversary is, and then approach them. Maybe perhaps you can convince this person to deal with the dragon. There's many ways around it. If your players don't want to go after the dragon, they don't go after the dragon. Dragon goes ahead and terrorizes the neighborhood for the rest of the life. Maybe a night goes out.
I was in a dragon encounter at a convention. We played with friends. I mean, I knew most of the players. I knew the game master. And there's a red dragon, and he had some kobolds, and we had to deal with him because he terrorized a nearby town. And when we did, we thought it was just some kobolds, so let's get rid of the kobolds. And there was a dragon deeper in the cave and a mountain of gold. And, now we are consumed in combat, trying to loot as much as we can.
Yeah.
And my friend is dying on the floor. I'm there as a mage. I'm like, what do I do? Oh, curses. And I pulled out my bag of holding and said, hey, dragon. Pull it out. It's like, I pull out my bag of devouring, right? It's a different one.
Yeah.
And I started scooping up massive amounts of gold into this black void of the bag. And the dragon freaked out. It's like, no! I was enemy number 1 at that after that one. So that my unconscious friend could be saved by the other players.
Holding his gold hostage. That is nice. That is, I hope your game master totally embraced that. And went
he was like, this is amazing. Cool. Big smile on his face. He was laughing out loud. He could not hold. It's like, gosh damn it, Son of Lord, not again.
So besides the Shawner Day coming up on Sunday, anything that you have planned coming up, or you got some cool game ideas that you're planning on working on?
We're still working on making the playing the adventure Pathfinder module.
Okay.
A Dragon's Demand. We had to cancel the last session yesterday because my computer literally broke down. Couldn't get back into BIOS. Everything exploded. And I just spent the whole day with technical difficulties. So the campaign has been cursed. We couldn't play for like 5 weeks in a row. It's absurd at this point.
Sorry to hear, man, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It
I-
happens when everybody's busy. We all know the pain. You just look, as long as you like the players and you like the premise, you keep on trying to get the time to work,
Yes.
and that's what
yeah.
we're planning. I'm also trying to help. I'm trying to create what is for the roleplay video in German.
Oh,
and
cool.
Try to translate all the points that this group has made, and Mr. Max's video, Crispy's video, your videos, to help put it in German out there for local German players.
Awesome.
Because we have a lot of shorthands like anchoring and for the roleplay, obviously co-creation, but also trying to look at big German role-playing channels to see what are they teaching the German players to show up, so I can more concisely make the counter arguments of which advice is good and which advice doesn't lead to role play. It might still be like a fun board game night, but you're not achieving role playing. If the whole focus is rolling dice and beating the tactical combat in a role playing game, then you're doing an adventure game. You're doing a board game with the boys, and trying to help that distinction in the German language. Which, man, I'm Swiss. I kind of have a. I don't have the correct German.
Right. Yeah. Well, you got more correct German than what I got correct.
True.
My German's pretty incorrect.
So trying to reach as many Germans as possible, not like stumble over my own words, explaining it badly. So I'm working on that.
Do you have much of a Swiss following crowd, or is it?
Nah, maybe my sister watches some like follows my videos. But she doesn't speak English or not as much, so it's like, oh, cool, he made a new video.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're getting some kudos here from the crowd, and
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate everything that you do, Zonalar, man. If there's any people that should be ending up becoming dice gods. I definitely put you on the chart along with we want Phil the Thrill to become a dice god too.
He doesn't want the responsibility.
Yeah,
he wants to
I
be
don't
a scoundrel.
yeah. I've been like, should I ask him, or because it is nice to have extra moderators and stuff like that, especially when you're a producer of a lot of videos that people watch and everything. So.
I don't know about that. I don't think that many people watched them.
No, still, it's out there.
Yes, that's true.
And if people go ahead and type in 4D roleplay when they look at YouTube and just type it in the search, and you're gonna find all our stuff everywhere. So,
Yep.
We're only hoping that this can spread further into the tabletop RPG algorithm and become something that people can use, because I see if just people start using some sort of manners, they could cut their game time in half and have double the action that they are performing right now. So
it's very interesting. You don't have to commit to full 4D roleplay. Of course, we use that as a framework to judge all the other things we are doing at the table.
Yes.
Right? Like, okay, let's have a session. What system do we want to use? Let's try out Stars Without Number. Okay, is it conducive to 4D roleplay though? And I made my campaign with D&D 5e. Like, how much can we have 4D roleplay in D&D? Stay in character, not have to talk about rules. And we had a full campaign, 7 sessions, and it worked pretty well. But we also found the weaknesses, especially when it came down to how magic works, and that a lot of the spells have their own unique little rulings of how they work. And now as a game master, I have to memorize 200 spells, or it depends on the group composition and how high level the player characters are, right?
Right.
And the higher level it goes, the more complicated it becomes, and it starts like bursting at the seams of, all right, he's using this spell. Let me go through the rule book and do that. And oh, one of the NPCs though is an enchantress, and she has like 20 spells that do all their own effects, and I have to look back again. It's like, oh no, I have a guy who casts banish. Oh shit, what do I do if I banish a player character though? Like he's just in a different plane, right? So okay, now I have
Right.
to study up on the different planes that exist that I might banish them to. What happens if they're in a plane of fire? I don't know. It's on fire. How
You
much?
know, especially when it comes to mage or priest casting characters that cast spells and stuff like that. I do generally do an overview of their spells as a game master, so that I can see what kind of powers they have and stuff like that, or how I could imagine them implementing them in my mind, so that I have a general idea. I'm very visual. I'm not I'll read a text and I'll visualize it, and
Yeah.
I'll keep that visualization in my head more so than the words that are on the page. And if I can just make a really quick note on my sheet of like where I have my list of players, and basically their hit points and their ACs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's stuff that I need to know, right? So I have a better idea of what's challenging them and what is not. Then I can then lose my train of thought and go elsewhere. But, if I have that information, I can go ahead and play, as the describer a lot more better. So, but when it comes to the players should know their spells. They should know what their arrow is capable of doing. They should know what their sword is capable of doing, and they should know what their spells are capable of doing. Because that's all part of your character. And as long as the character is consistent in his portrayal on it, I'm okay. I mean, if it's whiffing a little bit on the description in the player's handbook, whatever, and spells, that's okay. I'm not particular. All I care is about the cause and the effect, are the same. That's all that I worry about.
Right, like mistakes can happen, and
Yeah.
those are fine because we all make them. So
And
it's bound to get up. But we just know, like, I'm gonna look at my spells that I plan to use, or that makes sense for my character to maybe pick, like a wizard he can study for the next day. If there's a skip, he might think, okay, let's see if I change my spells, are they any different? You look them up real quick, and that's fine. It's a bit more difficult on the game master side. I need to know the player spells as well, all separate, different casters. And if you have a cleric at the table, clerics and druids, they can just change all of the spells, like by the rules themselves.
Right.
And we ended up doing like the players chose not to do that because it's stupid. It's way too much work. So
Yeah. Yeah, I getcha. But yeah, there's limits to your brain and how much you can hold in your head. So don't be hard on yourselves out there if you can't remember every rule. But just make sure that your player impress on your players that they should carry that load a lot more. In the responsibility of their character. They should know how many arrows they have in their quiver. That shouldn't be the game master's,
that's a big difference in the 40 roleplay way of playing, because a lot of tables out there have the social contract that the game master is the host. He provides for the players. He makes sure on what time of day we are playing. He reminds us when we are playing. He helps us building our character. He will answer all rules questions. He will write the plots that we are going on. He will have all the quests ready. Like, when does it stop? When are you gonna do something on this table? What the heck is going on here? Why am I doing all of this work for free?
Yeah,
You should pay
yeah.
up, guys. Honestly, like $50. $50 per player is my demand. If that's what you want, I can make it my job. Okay, but as a gamer, it's so much more fun if you can just roleplay.
Yes.
And the players take responsibility, they carry the burden, and they have freedoms to co-create at the table. Don't look to the GM if there's a scissor in the kitchen. You open up the drawers, and I'm looking for scissors. Scissors, where could they be? Opening up drawers. And then the game master can say, one of them, pair of scissors, slide around.
Yeah. It's on a holder on the wall. There.
Yeah.
Boom.
There we go.
Or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Or so in some cases, I don't mind it if the player actually says, I open up the drawer, look through, scissors, grab them. That's your action.
And I stay the alien with it.
Now
Perfect.
I can, as the game master, say the rivet on the scissors is very weak, and they're going to fall apart after he uses them once, or whatever. Or he has the scissors. He's got
the blades
scissors.
Jiggle in your hands.
Yeah, the plastic handle scissors. They're going to break or whatever. You have a lot of leeway as a game master if you really don't want the person to have the scissors.
The scissors are covered in green goo.
You are always playing one action at a time. So, boom, grab.
I look for the scissors. I find the scissors. I grab the scissors. I turn to the alien. I stab him in the chest, and then I punch him in the face.
And you don't realize how many times that happens where people put multiple actions together in their one action, and you just go, oh my god,
Like the very classic one is I arrive into town, I find the inn, I go into the inn, I talk to the barkeep and get a room for the night. There are so many steps, like there's so much room to roleplay, but you skipped it all.
Exactly.
You could say, I walk into town and look for a place to stay for the night. Now, as a game master, I know what he wants as a character. It's in character. You have a good idea of how he's doing it without him having to go into all the detail. And okay, I know at this point something interesting will happen. So, at the barkeep, discussing prices with the innkeeper, several hooded men enter behind you, blades drawn. Because that would be like, all right, that's when we focus back on what's happening on screen.
Exactly. Yeah, and you're presenting an opportunity for action to occur, which is good because you want to present these the mystery of these men coming in, and boom, it's presenting some sort of thing that the players can interact or dismiss entirely altogether.
Yeah.
It's up to them. But if they embrace the action, stuff will happen. If they huddle into their corners and hide away and shy away for a bit and watch what's going to occur, maybe that's what they're waiting for. I don't know. I'm not their character, so I
right.
Just keep on playing out those characters, and I go ahead and describe them as approaching the barkeep. They start asking questions. They grab the barkeep by the scruff of his neck and start mincing words with him and shaking fists. Right? Now, what do the players do? Because this action is still going. Now your players, you let them have their turn. And if they still are not interactive with this whole thing, well, then they're not. They're maybe it's a case that you should start looking for new players. Players that are active, or if you're playing this character as being a knight. If your character's a knight and he's skulking in the corner and not doing anything while these guys are questioning the bartender, well, are you playing your character? Are you being the knight?
Embody the knight.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then you at least make a conscious choice. Like, my knight is in here, like, for the prestige, not to do anything about it.
Yeah.
I just want to wave my tile
just
and
here
get
for
free
show.
lunch. You know, that's all I wanted.
Yo, then in that case, you would be the type that would approach the bartender and say, "Hey, is this band bothering you? Perhaps with a free meal, I can do something about it."
I don't come cheap.
You know, you can have a lot of fun with it. You know, it's you know, you have to approach 4D as if you were, you know, exactly the way that you would run your life. You get up in the morning, you put on your socks, you put on your underwear, or, you know, maybe you just get up naked, you go run to the shower, do your shower thing, and then get out of the shower, dry yourself off. You are the person that just, you know, you are the person that decides these actions, you know.
Yeah.
And it may be mundane and boring, but you know, in between those actions, you know, you're going to have ninjas dropping off, you know, from left, right on you or whatever, or, you know, suddenly there's an explosion outside your window and takes out your bedroom, and you come out of the shower and all you see is, you know, destruction and a drop off where your apartment is. And you look down and and you see, you know, you hear the sounds of alarms going off on cars everywhere, and
the vent freezing your skin.
You see the other building across the street from you starting to come down as well, and you're going, holy shit, what the fuck? You know, that's what should be happening.
Not in that building.
if your players are doing I'm just doing this, and I'm doing my shower and shit and shave, and, you know, there you go. You got to be, you have to be cunning as far as a game master in order to make action happen. You know, in the situation, activate your imagination and think of different things. You know, I go through my morning routine, you know, as an everyday person, thinking about these kinds of things for role play purposes. You know, I'm driving down the road. You know, what could happen? You know, you could have aliens show up. You know, you could have oh, there's suddenly you see clouds they'll rise off as if vehicles are coming across the plains. Suddenly there's like a contingent of semi trucks with spikes on them and everything, and, you know, with warriors on top with their right. You know, their guns and they're guarding what they're towing, and it's like a convoy coming across. Now is going to get interesting as this convoy converges onto the road that you're driving on, and suddenly you are under attack by these people. Boom, boom, boom! It explodes from there. You know, there's a million ways to make the mundane something exciting, and it's up to the game master to do that. But it is also up to the players to embrace the action and to and to play in the context of what their character. I can understand if a character is like a thief or a sneaky kind of guy, they might, you know, shirk away from physical actions and prefer, you know, to get them from behind, kind of like.
You will always look for opportunities to take advantage of people, not to get confronted. So, but then it's a choice again. So you can lean into that, like, yeah, I'll keep to myself, looking for a quick way out, checking, listening closely to the jingling of the coins in the purses, observing, you know, like all these actions happening. You're just trying to figure out, like, well, can I still steal from them? You know, can I get the bag on the way out?
Yeah. Have you ever? No, I don't think I've delved into your channel as far. Have you ever done a critique on people's play or anything like that personally?
Yeah. I got a few episodes out there called Crimes Against Roleplay.
Crimes Against Roleplay?
I did it with Nicholas Carmago. We did it both together. And, you know, we do the whole detective thing of nobody's stopping these crimes. Somebody's got to do it, even if you don't get paid for it. Nobody nobody accepts our authority, but we still have to. Otherwise,
Yeah.
John Roleplay is gonna get abused and he's gonna get killed at these tables.
So this was submitted by a Reason for Roleplay. I commend Reason for Roleplay. He's in our live stream right now, doing back and forths with people in the chat. But
Nice.
I thought it was really cool that he goes ahead and posts it. And we're when we go ahead and watch these things, we take in consideration that perhaps not everybody in this session would be like 4D or anything like that. We're just seeing how they play and everything. And if we can give them glimmers of ideas of how to improve their play, we will. And I mean, you shouldn't ever take it as being like a criticism against yourself. And we understand that we played in this way as well. And we have gone through the rigors of trying to rid ourselves of these inflictions of following the what the game master is saying and being surrendering our freedoms for this in order to be in the context of what the game master's story will be. And we were trying to be opposite. We want the players to have the story they want, of course. So let's go ahead and take a gander. I brought it into about 10 minutes here, or maybe I should go a little bit further just to kind of get into the context of the game. Let's hit the what are we here at the 51 mark here?
Let's go.
It strikes me as they're a very obvious target right now.
I've always said you have a bigger brain than me, Giovanni. I didn't think of that. All right, shall we find our lodging?
For now, yes. And I think it might be worth our while returning to the blacksmith tomorrow, passing him some coin for some sort of work and see if he knows any more information. But we'll see. Tomorrow's a new day. Maybe.
So what could be added here is some anchoring. Okay, that's all. Maybe some movement of the character. Like as he's expressing, he's talking. Well, perhaps we should reconvene. As I walk over towards the fireplace mantle, observing the pictures, and I say, "This is is this a Dunway? Dunway is a very particular painter of this era." Blah blah blah, and then continue on with your you could bring in so much co-creatively, as well as expressing from your character's point of view different interests. Maybe you have an interest in painting and arts and stuff like that. Perhaps your character is more interested in the planning and cunning details of how you're going to proceed in whatever event that or action that your group is about to portray. Be it a heist or whatever it is. Your plan. Maybe you're the cunning planner. Maybe you obsess over details. So you pull out sheets of paper and put it out and draw diagrams as we're explaining this. And you could go into details like that as you pull out this and that, and your sextant and calculating out the possibilities that we could succeed in this raid or whatever it is that you're doing. I have no idea what the particular situation is that they're planning for here, but just the same as we watched with that John Carter of Mars, you shouldn't need exposition to go ahead and start introducing the situation at hand. It should be quite apparent with the way that you are explaining it, the way that you indicate some of the interesting aspects of your character as you are doing your actions to kind of fill it up more. It just it fractals from there with the other players, and this other player here, he'll end up, getting influenced by that and adding to the flavor of the game as well.
Yeah.
So that's all I could say is add maybe some some anchoring.
Maybe not.
Indeed, he might know more than he lets on.
Now you can portray that more.
Yeah, like explain it through the eyes of the characters.
Yeah.
He's shifting or
Shifts
he
under
has a faint smile on his lips. His eyes dart away from yours, like adjusting his cufflinks. And those are little tells. Like, what do they tell? You don't know, but you know that he doesn't usually do that, so it stands out.
Yep. Let's continue.
I march off towards the next street where I hope to find our lodgings.
Yeah, the Bronze Falcon is on the next street over. It's got this like large painted falcon above the door,
I like this.
lettered with it in Samnite below. The Bronze Falcon. It's an imposing establishment. It's got to be 3 stories tall, with smoke wafting out of several chimneys. And you
That's good.
So is he the game master in this situation?
I can't tell. I think so.
I
mean,
like it.
If he knows what everything looks like, I would say, yeah, sure, that must be the game master.
I do like it when players take on narrative roles as well.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's my game. That's in a lot of my games.
You arrive in a new town. The game master's like, I just invented the name, and now the player busts out a three-story tall building, Lions Inn, with several chimneys and smokes rising out of them.
That's what we got.
Amazing! Yes, let's go with that. I don't even have to invent an inn.
Gargoyles puking out the rainwater. On the
right, like on the sides of the roof.
Yeah. Cool stuff. You don't see that nowadays. You really have to have the imagination to kind of fill it. I really I'm jealous of you, Zonalar, because you are in an area where all the medieval shit happens. So you have some great ancient architecture there that you can definitely glean off of. This is where using Google and stuff like that. You guys, if you're not traveling around and visiting stuff, I think a lot of great DMs are travelers. That actually go from place to place and see how it goes from mountains to hills to plains to forests to swamps to riverlands to farmlands. And you get the real sense of how that all blends together, and then you kind of use that in your games. And if you've traveled around and done that kind of stuff, you are capable more of expressing those kinds of scenic vistas before the players, and your brain just works that way, if you've been around that. So please get out of your basements, guys. as I say from my basement here.
A classic example as an artist, I look up for references of, how would I draw like a girl in that pose? And I look up other artists on how they drew it. And then when I ask for feedback online, they say, what are you doing? Just find a woman, find somebody who took photos in that pose. Look for the real deal first before you start looking for how other people imagined it. And it really helps if you just go out there, because you never know when a photographer, he takes a picture and then makes all of these changes to it to make it look better. It's okay, you can still draw that and it looks cool, but you don't know what the real deal is until you see it. So try to get as much as first contact references as you can.
So there we go. Yeah. And you got some, good start. Yeah. Good.
I agree.
You guys, You know, there's you guys are at least you're giving each other the time to go ahead and express um, your turn without like crossing each other's with a mess of different information which doesn't even pertain to the game, like referencing Monty Python videos or oh, this is just like that scene in that movie, blah blah blah. And you hear that all the time in all these other games. At least this does not have that, and it's a godsend. It's a godsend.
Yeah, the town looks like Bree from The Lord of the Rings.
I've seen I've seen a lot of really good sessions, recently where they have really good rules at the table where the communication is very clear and very decisive. But then they have the game master that overtakes everything, and it's his story or her story, and the rest of the players are just basically kind of just following along. But at least they're keeping in contact. We'll call that more or less 3D, but there are those things in 2D that perk up in it, where there's where the game master carries the entire thing, and you should have some the players should be in control of themselves, and at least we're seeing this happening here. You're not seeing the game master trying to influence them in any way. So when we do a critique, we're listening to what's happening, and we're thinking, if we were in this game, how would we feel in this, and what more information could we use or not or lessen in this?
One of the things you can do, like, okay, the players, he already explained, hoping to find an inn nearby, looking through the streets. Okay, and if it's a real big place, you don't want to just shorthand, oh, you find inn. You can go, the streets are sprawling, multiple districts, no inn in the immediate vicinity.
Yeah, have the little gang of orphans that steal stuff off of people show up, and they start
Take their stuff.
pestering with the players as well, and stuff like that. Because
hello, mister, you new town. Let me show you around. Grabs your hand.
Yeah, you never
suddenly
know.
your ring is gone. It's like, what? Ring of protection +1 slips right off.
Adventure is everywhere. It's just gotta be, imagined, and it all occurs. So, let's continue on here.
Sounds of music and revelry and bits of smoke coming out from the door.
Short, good.
My goodness.
From having been here before, does this have anything like to do with the Vintners Guild? Do they have any kind of unofficial tie to the vineyards or anything like that?
All right, hold on. Who are you asking, though?
He's asking the invisible head that follows him, that floats behind him, giving him all the answers. Now, this is a thing that we have to get ourselves out of, is having the game master, pretending that the game master is an actual being in your game. He should only be a narrator and would adjudicate all the roles. So
if this happens, sometimes it's hard because some players don't pick on the cues, or maybe you didn't explain it that this is one of the rules. I'm not gonna respond to your questions, and if you skipped to explain that, it might be really awkward at the table. But what you can do is like, remember, I'm not gonna answer any direct questions. I'm not in this world. And if it keeps happening, you skip the player. You just narrate what else happens on the streets,
Or you have an NPC come along and say, "Why are you talking to yourself, sir?" It's or you have or a fellow player does that, and we definitely have players that will in 4D do that to other players in order to get their heads straight again in the first person aspect. and keeping in the context that the narrator is not an actual person in your game. The way he could have phrased it in his in an action, you know, I look for signs of indications of any, you know, guild activity or whatever the question that you're kind of bringing up. Just
Yeah,
state
you
it.
can
You are
even,
looking around for any indications of. Sure.
amuse to myself, and you can literally have a monologue to yourself, like lower the voice. I wonder if the gang terrorizes these streets. Look over for signs of any graffiti that would be noticeable. I look for crosses
Or
carved into the cobblestones.
use
something like that.
use the fellow player character as well. Yeah.
Do
Hey,
you think?
you think we got any gang signs around here? You see anything? And then maybe the game master can kind of elaborate a little bit on maybe the character knowledge.
The man sitting on the stool next to the inn store appears to have a black tattoo on his neck.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, because of the distance, you know, you see a black tattoo, you don't see what the tattoo is. You have to approach him, try to catch a glimpse.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, of course, the player has to go ahead and indicate his next move. I move towards it. Yeah. And when it comes to like and I think Flamezombie mentioned something about movement. Is it important, you know, whether or not you get there in time? I'd say anything that you describe in vicinity should be at least reachable and attainable as far as the characters are concerned, as far as their distance and everything. If you describe it,
Yes.
you should be. If you describe it as being far in the distance, then it should take more than one turn in order to get to there. Or perhaps it would need a run or a sprint in order to reach that point. But you know, as far as as far as vicinity goes, I keep that whatever I describe in vicinity is something you can interact with right away. So,
Indeed.
Not as far as you know. They just supply them.
Okay. Fair. I didn't know if it was, you know, one of those.
yeah,
like-
and that information can be evoked from an NPC as well. But that's the case of them seeking out an NPC that may know things about, you know, the gangs and stuff like that. And of course, you know, you introducing an idea of having a character with a tattoo on his neck, perhaps, you know, with a few coins, a player can approach and do that sort of thing. Coins will entice, you know, a thief or, you know, a gang member, any way to make money. And depending on the scruples of that character, the NPC that you're approaching, they may decide to give out some extra information on this and give them some more info that they could use. And this way, you can go ahead and evoke that as an NPC, and instead of stating it as a narrator. But I mean,
Every time you can involve NPCs, it feels more natural and the game flows better.
Yes, exactly. So that is one of my things of prep. If I state this for all you guys out there in 4D, if you can strip down your prep to be down to all of the things that you control, your NPCs, the loot. Okay, so you got NPCs, the loot, and what else do you control? What else do you control, Zonalar?
The whole world.
The
I
whole
think
world.
of like what are the factions nearby that are relevant. So not a guy, but the group and maybe the leader of the group. That helps a lot to understand the moving. What is moving if the players are not right, and so I can narrate that when it becomes when it makes sense.
And See, what was I going to think about? I hate that. I'm getting too old where I get this great idea and then it just goes poof out of my head. So and
Gosh darn it.
maybe I'll
Not
spark
again.
on it later on. Let's go ahead and listen in some more here. We're just going to listen in a bit more and see what's happening. Give an honest, critique and ideas to help with the
Yeah,
session.
sort of the favoured place that everyone from the guild stays, or if it was just like, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
good,
everyone
good,
from the
good,
guild
yeah.
does go here just because of its location.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I'll follow on in, I guess.
Yeah. Entering
Now,
the
I
Falcon,
would say-
it's
This is a very classic example. Player asks the game master, I'm trying to figure out, like, if all the guild members go here, and the game master confirms it for him.
Mhm.
Instead, and it's harder to do it in the middle of the session, so this is after the session. Look at the game with him and say, like, oh, at this moment here, it would have been real cool if you asked an NPC that, like, oh, do all guild members go to this inn? Or, do all the guild members go here? That's better. It's an improvement.
Right,
And
right.
the players should be able to understand why that's an improvement. And if he's confused and asks you why, then it's exactly that. Well, you're breaking the verisimilitude of the world by looking at a pie in the sky to ask the exact same question that you can ask in character in the world. So that helps to stay in your skin and not having this schizophrenic discussion with the game master.
Yes, because you are this guy here. So the player, the guy in the blue. So
Yeah.
this guy here, is he in character? He's out of character. He's no longer
Yes.
thinking in context in his head as this whoever he is. We have I skipped ahead. I want to see hints, glimmers of who this character is, when I'm looking at him, just like I do in a movie. I want to
Yeah.
see that, I want to see this expression of who this person's identity and stuff. And these are things that you have to think about when you are the player too, in order to represent these things for the game master, so that he has more information to delve off of about you as well.
I think it's even better if he, as a player, just assumes, oh, this must be the place where all the
Yeah.
guild members go to. And the game master might think, no, that's not the case. But I will
Yeah.
let him go with this and explain through the world to confirm or deny what he thinks. Like, give more information. As
I would
like
be-
other NPCs say, we should have gone to the free pigs tonight. Why did we take this pigsty? And now the player has more information to update what his assumption was. Because the assumption is fine to make, but they don't have to be true.
Right. Yeah, I always now he's dealing with a gang here, so I'm thinking, okay, we have gangs and stuff in this group. Would they be readily, showing their hand, showing their headquarters? It would
Yeah.
very likely be more something hidden, and perhaps there's like little spots that have maybe they assume that this place is the meeting, but it is a front. It's a front in order to kind of catch people, see whether or not people are sneaking around and asking too many questions. Maybe they will enter that building and be confronted by a gang to say, "Hey, what are you guys doing here? Why are you sneaking around and trying to find out more information?" The streets
And you can always
are
always
ears,
double
not
play it as
Yeah.
it's just a restaurant. Like, please, sir, leave the premises. We are trying to serve our guests. If somebody becomes too obnoxious, pokes his nose into the wrong corners, and if they insist on it, that's when the gangs they give the signal. They have 4 guys show up in the back alley, ready to take him out when he returns to his house or to the other inn that he stays in.
And yeah, it is perfect. Yeah, it's human nature to want perfect information. Again, You know, and that's the thing. Even if you are in like one of the most advanced Navy SEALs operation and stuff like that, you do have things of the unknown that
Yep.
that you do not know, and you do not know them until you encounter them and face them head on in the moment of crisis. And that's where a lot of character comes out in your play, expression
Indeed,
of your character.
Yeah, that's when you can express your character, things that you don't know that happen to you. What do you do, right? But we stop asking you what do you do. We know you're gonna tell us.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Yeah, and all that information, you never go in with all the information that. I mean, sure, you could have what information you've gleaned from talking to NPCs. Some of them may be telling you lies, or may have a half truth to it, or a twist, or something like that. Or maybe they are
I'm
telling
gonna
you the
roll
truth.
my insight check on that information.
Yeah, the insight check. Oh God.
So if
Please.
somebody lies and you don't think he's lying, you don't think he's lying. But if somebody lies and you think, well, maybe there's more to this.
He moves
Just-
in a deceptive manner, you
Yeah.
know, avoiding the conversation, you know, or you can give different, different tells as game master of how the player can perceive what's happening with an NPC, instead
Yeah.
of instead of asking directly to the game master and getting that information that way, and that just pulls you out of character. That's the thing. It just you're no longer talking in the voice of your character or the tone of your character, and you're no longer acting through the eyes of your character. You're just talking in your head. It is what's happening if you were to take it as face value of a 4D game session. But it's stuff that you learn as you go along. We weren't ever perfect when we first started. You know, we've all had our struggles and everything trying to get through a session, figuring things out, and but
Yeah.
what we learn from them, we try to give it to you guys so that you can take these pieces of information that we give you, and you decide if you want these manners implied in your game, and have these rules. Do it. Go for it. Embrace them. You know, like you will have a really good session. And the thing is, it's more of an internal thing as a character. Like you can't have the session show up like you see here. You're seeing a black screen with
Yep.
two pictures of guys talking to each other. And
this is
most
like a
people
third
will
guy
say
too,
this is
and I don't
boring.
see him either.
I'm not seeing pictures. I'm not seeing all the avatars and all this cool stuff, and you're not showing me other pictures or bringing up maps on the screen and stuff like that. Well, that's because everything's being played in the mind. And if a commenter does not know what an imagination is, or is incapable of having an imagination, and I've kind of expressed this in the 4D groups. Hey, not everybody has this 4D imagination that they could utilize it in the game session. So you just have to, those players can't play that way. You just don't have the capacity for it.
Yeah.
Or they haven't trained their mind to be able to be capable of that.
There's definitely there's a muscle that has to be trained as well. The more you do it, the easier it will come to you.
Oh yeah. I was really terrible at being at improv, and and most of it had to do with me trying to grab words. You know, I know the thing that I am trying to convey, but I can't remember the name of it. I can't remember of the trellis.
It's the
trellising of the
candle stands, the candelabra.
Candelabra,
right,
yeah. Things like that. Just, once again, just make yourself your own little improv book. right? Room description, candelabra, all this stuff, side tables,
That's when
duvet, whatever.
That's
You
when
know?
you can just look at other adventure modules and read their room descriptions, because some of them are pretty awesome with a lot of detail and flavor, and you're like, oh, that's a cool thing. I'm gonna note this down for myself for the next session that I can throw in. Or reading books, right? Reading books helping a lot with the description. I know Chris Me ran a game for you guys when you played your elf wizard. I think he was a wizard. I'm not sure. You played the elf to make a dungeon crawl. You at the start you went over this old bridge and you arrived at this dungeon crawl with some creatures outside. Phil, he played a druid who casted some magic with plants. And one of the rooms, it was like a 3-level dungeon that went down. Mr. Max played a drunk that was drinking all the time, some barbarian.
I don't think I was in that.
Yeah, you were. In the first one, you were. Then they played again, but without you.
Okay.
Recently, you played an elf that. That was a thing. You were there. I remember.
I was.
You were.
I played so many
on your
sessions, I
channel.
can't even remember them.
It was sometime last year though. Like it was a long time.
Yeah.
But Crispy described a mezzanine.
Oh yeah.
And I had no idea what a mezzanine is. What is this? Like an indoor balcony.
Situation. Yeah.
So that was cool. It's like, oh wait, that's cool. What is it? I have no idea. I have to look it up.
Mezzanines, daises, all these different things that you could add. And it doesn't matter if the player does not get it. A mezzanine, he just has his imagination. Okay, what's a mezzanine? Maybe he's thinking of it's like a platform or something. Maybe that's what he's thinking, or not necessarily a balcony. But sometimes you have to realize players don't have all that, knowledge of words and stuff. Especially when you have to go ahead and translate it from German, Swiss to English in your head,
all
right?
The time.
So, yeah,
I have the opposite problem of I speak more English than German, so I struggle finding the German words. I find the English word first.
It's like the customer coming in to my store when I used to work in retail, and she's like, Spiegel, and I'm like, what?
I'm looking for the Spiegel.
What? The Spiegel. Like, I can't. I've never had to use the word for mirror in German. So
Spiegel, show myself in Spiegel.
Spiegel.
What? A mirror. It reflects your image.
Exactly. And something simple as that. Keep in mind. Try to keep descriptions. Kind of to a very. I try to make it a sketch. I describe it as a sketch. I sketch it so that people can go ahead and color it in. With whatever there, or I can add the colors.
And if it's like completely lost, you just go with it as much as possible and try to not get like lost in the details and keep going. And the game master, he might pick up on it or like re-describe the scene, or you as a player character look around trying to understand what this mezzanine thingy is. Trying to envision. And it's hard sometimes. And if everything fails, just ask at the end of the session, like, okay, what was that thing though? I was so lost in the details. And
what's a palisade? What's the name?
A palisade? Like, a wooden wall? Like, of course.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I will go ahead and state a palisade, wooden stakes. You're driven into the ground deeply, or just kind of clarify or something. In case you're using a fancy word for something, they just may not.
Shooting arrows out of the machinations from the tower. It's like, what are those? Oh, the little slits they add so you can shoot downward, but they can never hit you because it's a tiny opening. Great if you stand right next to it with your bow and arrow.
Right. So here, yeah, I like established settings so that I can create a person who fits that setting. Yeah. Now, usually we go through a session 0 where we kind of establish a setting, tone, idea of what sometimes we just make it up like microscope and like we just come up with a concept of a world that we want to play in, and the struggle that this world is meeting at this moment, and then you create the characters to go ahead and deal with this proposed struggle that you will find out more about when you go ahead and explore it. You don't want to give away all the details of it when you're doing the microscope session, but you're discovering what the players expect in the game and how their characters will go ahead and interact in this game. They'll choose their character class and they'll go ahead and start working on their character idea, and you start cycling through. Okay, what do you want to see in this world and stuff, and you get to all those cool ideas. But there are some cool established settings. I often go ahead and use like Bone Hill. The Secret of Bone Hill will be a setting that I start with some characters, and I like those the old versions of the modules, not in the way that they're laid out, but in what context that they lay stuff out. They detail the important thing is NPCs and the loot that you find in these locations, and maybe a little bit of description. That's cool, but I as far as me, I want to know the stuff that I control as the game master. So as far as the players go, I don't ever create anything for the players as in location wise, because my players will go wherever they want, and I have to be spontaneous enough to know what if in an established location like a city or town, I'll know a bit about that, who rules it, their NPCs that they may find in there and stuff like that. But the player themselves, they're the ones that have to decide the direction of where they're going, if they're going to go into dungeons, or if they're going into a crypts, or a graveyard, or are they going over land and going through mountains and stuff? I'm the one who's got to go ahead and narrate wherever they're going in an essential way that they get the gist, and then they can fill in the ideas. But this is, of course, this is the 4D method, and like I say, you can do this with an established setting and make it happen. We show many examples. I think we got to start.
One of the things that I'd love to add is if you have this feeling of, you feel like an alien in the setting you're playing in because it's all so vague, it's not clearly defined, you don't know what is appropriate or inappropriate. That is a big struggle that can make an active player into a more passive player, waiting for affirmation of the game master to tell him if it's okay or not. And that's gonna just get in the way of the roleplay. And what helps with that is what genre would do, of saying, imagine it being like Star Wars, but we lean into the Western aspects of it. And you go from there. So what does that mean? So Jedi's are a thing, but it's a lawless land. And technology is like run down. So we lean into the Tatooine aspects and not into the core worlds. Mm-hmm. Now you have like a better definition, and you can ask a couple clarifying questions in the session 0 or before the game starts, sometimes even after the game. But don't be afraid to just make assumptions. Even if they're wrong, a good game master is gonna level with you and try to not make your character look stupid, but be like, a perfectly normal assumption that somebody might make, but actually one of the NPCs might denote like, no, you got this detail all wrong. It was all about and then they trail off about this in-universe lore. But because it's an NPC telling you we are staying in character and we can keep role-playing without him having to go lore dumping all over you. You know, you listen to him for a couple minutes and then you're like, okay, I got enough of this nerd. I'm moving on. Thank you for the advice. I got a meeting to go to. You turn. You turn and leave. No, but please, I still have like 20 more minutes of lore to tell you. It's like, I'm busy.
So I think we'll leave that little critique there, but just to give people insight, you know, into how we try to critique. It's just to see how we can go ahead and streamline it down for you, so and give you some ideas to take home with you. I mean, we're not telling you have to do this or whatever. It's just, you know, if you want it to be that way, you know, you're going to have to follow the kind of a set of rules. You guys have some good fundamentals down, allowing the players to have the breathing space to take control of what they're doing. And I think it's just going to take your players, because they've likely been beaten over the head with taking away their agency or whatever you may want to call it. But
taking away their eyes, their feet, their bodies, their feelings.
They need to relearn how to do that again. So you know, after being having it stolen from them,
abused by these power-hungry game masters who just want to control everything, Rick. That's what they want. You know it, I know it. We've all been there. We've seen them play.
Exactly. Well, let's get on to this part of the segment. Let's talk a little bit more about...
Hey, our next group is Tommy Dice. These guys rock. So hold on to your seat, because you're going to rock.
Next up. This one's called Picking Up on the Dice.
We are in hardcore dice mode now. Alrighty, so dice. So after role playing for so long, what do you think? Do you think Shauna is right? Bell curve, or D20?
I'm a big fan of the bell curve. There is D20 has a connotation to it that is, you know, it works the same as a D100, right?
Yes.
Except you can turn the D100 into 5 increment steps. Now you have the D20. But most D100 systems, they don't add like plus 40 modifiers to your rolls. Most of the time, they're limited within the boundaries of the D100. And with a D20, you'll very often have big, ridiculous modifiers that makes it very, very hard to balance anything around. So the bell curve allows your character to be much more competent, much easier, because you can... what is it? Because the averages happen way more often than the outliers.
Exactly. I kind of like that idea. Well, you know, well, you get the D20, obviously, right? But
yeah.
Also, another method is using 2 D10s, adding them together to create a bell curve as well. You have your range of from 20 all the way to 1. But keep in mind that your average will be in the 11, 12, kind of like the way that the 6-sided dice.
Right, you're rolling 2 D10s, and now you have a bell curve.
Yeah, and bell curve as well.
Yeah, from 2 to a 20.
I've been thinking of utilizing that in my own. I guess it would be what would be the rune? What's it called? Rune
Quest.
Rune Quest uses the same thing. 2 D10s added together.
I do not know. I gotta be honest.
One of those rune something games does that. Wasn't there a recent game that had 2d12s adding together? Which game was that?
2d12s. We are using it for the Etera RPG that Nicholas is working on. We are using 2d12s there.
I think that's a cool idea, because now you're once again 2d12s is giving you that bell curve once again, and it's also giving you the ability to make those high rolls really count for something, and make those low rolls actually count for the detriment of whatever it is that you're trying to do. I think that kind of measurement of the dice in that curve, it's a lot more. You get more predictable results. Let's just say it's. I find that it works a lot better. I've been playing Castles and Crusades with my local group, so it's all D20, and just to see the disheartenment when they miss, when they think that they should have hit at a certain time, and I've given them like a lot of like a +10, and they still roll like 2 or something like that, and the armor class of this creature is like 15. And you're like,
right. You can really end up in these ridiculous scenarios of, I should be a competent fighter, and this guy isn't that hard to hit, and I make my swing, and just a whiff. It feels like you slipped on a banana peel during combat.
Yeah. So dice, guys, start thinking about you and the bell curves out there. So, that's all I have to say about dice. Anything you got to say about dice? What's your feelings other than that?
My biggest feelings about the dice is that they make sense for the game you're playing. So if you want things to be more swingy, I like the swinginess in like magic systems to add an element of randomness, because magic is hard to control. You shouldn't. It's not like trying to shoot a gun, trying to shoot a lightning bolt. It has a lot more elements inside of it that you cannot control. That's what I like about magic. You cannot explain everything. You know some stuff, and the rest you just have to feel it out, man, because it's fucking magic. It doesn't give a shit how long you've studied. There will always be a twist to it.
I think a lot of game masters should attach their concentration rules a little, like utilize their concentration rule like for the player.
Oh yeah,
a little bit more. If they fail their concentration, make the spell go off like it should, but maybe with a caveat, and stuff like that. You can really add more elements of the like DCC kind of fail states in the game. And that sort of thing. So I think magic, should sound more unpredictable and stuff. Utilize those concentration rules a little bit more. If you're failing your concentration more, make it interesting. Make spell happen, but with rainbows and stuff, or frogs, or crickets coming out with the whole thing.
You summon like 5d20 frogs on the spot.
Or you try to spawn a flame strike, and your crickets go start flaming up, and
they all flame up too. So that most of them are burning.
It smells terrible too.
No.
The smell of burning crickets and locusts. Yes. Anyways, I think we should go ahead and we're hitting the 2-hour mark. And Zonalar, you have been astounding and going more than an hour and a half. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I was looking for an opportunity to get the discussion to an end. Some players are waiting for me now.
Yes,
for the next thing.
And for all you guys out there, tune in. You're broadcasting this live?
I'm broadcasting this one. Yes.
Right on. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and watch this on I'll go ahead and personally go ahead.
Oh, that's
take a listen.
The other. I have to ask them. I didn't talk about broadcasting it. I thought you meant I'm broadcasting what we are talking about on the.
Oh,
on my
okay.
channel.
No, but I can't wait to see more games from you coming out. So I will stay tuned, and you know, I think a lot of us will have to kind of step it up and start bringing up what we're pulling up in Dungeon Theater, what we call Dungeon Theater in our Discord, and bring up some of these interesting, you know, like self-promoted kind of stuff. You know, there's a lot of our players that are out there that are actually showing what they're doing, and you know, I'm not you know, subscribed to everybody, and you know, I try to be as much as possible, but you know, I'll miss the occasional new people that come in.
Yeah, it's a lot of content, guys. Like, if you need information, it's all out there. If you try to watch every role-playing game, good luck. Like, I gave up at this point, and I watched so many of them. You have to pick and choose, and try to watch other people how they play, to get an outsider's perspective, to like shift your perspective a little bit and catch the blind spots.
Exactly. So, Zolar,
thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
It's been swell.
It's been swell.
I like having you. It's awesome. Not just swell. It's awesome. So it's great to have you here. And yeah, and good luck with your game. And I shall let you go, and we'll go ahead and lead this off with a bit of a smile.
Let me see that smile on your face. Is everybody happy? You survived another day. Is everybody happy?